Welcome to the channel. I'm going to teach you how to fix Autoboys, or at least try and fix them. I've bought 6 of them and I'm going to see how many I can repair. So let's see if I get some nice little landscape shots from this little number. It's quite bright and sunny, but it's absolutely beautiful here. So let's get into this video to fix those Canon AF35Ms, otherwise known as the Autoboy. So I jumped onto eBay, got one for 20 euros, then I started to look for a few more. This one for 20 euros is actually not in bad shape. Autoboy number 2 came in at 15 euros. The glass for the autofocus is broken. He says he doesn't know if it works, but he believes it's working. And finally I managed to pick up 4 more in a job slot for 50 euros from a guy called Alex, I believe from Hamburg. So I'm going to see how many I'm going to get out of that lot. So here we go. So a couple of more packages. This small one I've just ripped open here so I could hold the camera and do this at the same time. I've got my 4, I've got my extra one, so I've got all my cameras now. I'm actually up in Obertauern. It's a ski resort, still has snow, and people are still skiing like mad. And it's, you know, it's Easter Sunday, and it's a beautiful day, and it's an incredible landscape around me. So, picnic table, got my first Autoboy that I repaired. I'm going to take some shots on it. I have a few left. I took some pictures last night of the Easter fire. I wonder will they come out, who knows, but I'm putting to number 1 through its paces. I'll have to do the rest, and I've got Agfa APX100 in here, and this is the one that came from Alex, I think from Berlin actually. So let's take some shots of some mountains and landscape with the little Autoboy. Here are a few shots from the roll of film of Agfa APX100 developed in Spur N Acurol. Also I have some prints I made, some lit prints at the end of this video, so watch to the end to see those as well. So I'm going to ease you in with the basics before we do the advanced stuff. There's down there, I think there's a connector missing as well. You need to look right in that battery box. That's your first thing to do if you're fixing these guys, is make sure you've got good battery connections and that's all cleaned out. Then check if the flash works. If the flash charges up, that means current is getting to the machine. Then push this guy in here, this little thing in here, and try the rewind. That's definitely, if you get your rewind working, then you're on to taking apart the camera to see if you can get the button to work. This part here, the glass bezel, which affects the autofocus. Actually, let me talk about that autofocus. If this part is broken or something is getting in the way, this is actually the autofocus window. And if there's anything blocking that, then your autofocus is not working. And how you know your autofocus is working is it's when you're looking in the viewfinder window to see where the camera fires and focus. You'll see it moving across, whether it was portrait or landscape. And that's a good thing to do. If you want to test also the shutter, you put your finger over this here, right, and that will block the light going into the sensor, and you can see if the shutter is opening or closing when you get the shutter to fire, and then take it away and you should see it closing faster. That's a good way to test if the shutter speeds, if there's a slow one and a fast one. Doesn't mean it's shooting correctly, but at least the sensor is working. They're very robust little cameras. Battery box, flash. That's fix the battery box first, then look at see if your flash is working, by firing this guy up here, and if you see a red light here, that's a good sign that your electronics are good. If you get a red light up here when you're firing, that's also good. That means your a lot of your electronics is also good. There's not much electronics in these guys. As I said, autofocus, if anything is blocking that, that'll affect the autofocus. Yeah. So that's pretty much your basics covered. Let's get on and try and fix those cameras. For the first Autoboy, the rewind seems to be working. The flash seems to be working. The battery contacts were totally corroded inside. I used some contact spray here to clean it out and some cotton buds. Those need a little bit more work. Oh, this one, which has got the broken screen on it, which isn't really just mere cosmetics. Well, it kind of works. It was working a second ago. Yeah. But that's a good sign. The shutter is working. I had a look inside. The rewind is working. Let's see if probably the flash charges up. Takes a moment. You can also try out the self timer if that works as well. So there's definitely an extra one going to work here. Let's see if that makes a noise now. Yeah, the flash is charging up. That's a good sign. Let's see if the timer works. Takes about 10 seconds. There we go. Flash works. Yeah, that's a goer. Might need some repair on here, but a bit of testing, but I'm happy with that. Came with a leather case too. Wow. Very pleased. The other 4 candidates over here, which cost me €50. I will be lucky if I get one of those to work. So to replace the door on your Autoboy, you need to open this piece up. And there's 3 screws in here. Undo these screws and then the piece will come out. And then you can just simply replace the door quite easily from another camera. Very easy to replace the door. Just pull the grip open and you've got 3 screws. You don't have to do anything else. That's really easy one to do. So the other problem with the door is that the clip gets broken in here. So let me just point that out. So when this piece falls off here, the door will not close. So if the latch is okay on the door, then you need to open up the back of the camera. And then this one is a good one. You can see there's a little latch in here. Whereas in this one, it is broken off completely. That's pretty easy to do. You just need to pop these 2 pieces off and take the spring out. So before you start taking your Autoboy apart, use the flash and combination of the release button for the rewind on the bottom of the camera and the shutter button. These 3 things are kind of mechanically linked together, and often that will help release things in the camera mechanically. So this piece here, let me just see if I can get that yet. This piece here is what controls the exposure, so you want to keep that clean and no scratches on it. There's this light sensor on that, and that's very important for your Autoboy. So clean that, make sure there's no dust in it or dirt in it. The cogs that are under here, are for the autofocus. Where I'm pointing here with the screwdriver is actually the shutter. That little metal pin should be all the way to the left. If it is not resetting, that means your shutter is open and you could have a stuck shutter. So I'm still working on the first Autoboy, and as I thought, I got it to work. It's film advancing. Yeah, the shutter is working too. Took some taking apart. It was kind of stuck around here, and I fiddled around and just kind of moved cogs around. Not exactly sure how I fixed it, but it's working. With that first Autoboy, I shot a roll of film and made this contact sheet, and as you can see, the exposures, the autofocus are working out well. Even that Easter fire came out in pitch dark circumstances, and the flash as well. The images you're seeing here are actually prints that I made in the darkroom from this simple camera.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you're interested in Lith, click above. I've left a playlist up there and hope to see you on the next one. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and any comments down below if you need some help with fixing an Autoboy. Thank you again. Goodbye.